So I'm sitting at my desk at the Baton Rouge office of the greatest life insurance company that's ever existed. And I'm checking my account balance online with my bank, and I'm trying to see why I don't see a deposit. I was expecting that we would have just had our payday. So I go down and I speak with the Treasury Department, and they explain to me that I don't see a payment because I actually owe them a lot of money. And not to worry, these things happen, but they were going to be patient with me while I repay them. I had no idea that this was possible. They explained to me the idea of reversed commissions, which is where they advance me commissions when I sell a policy. But if the client stops making a payment in the first year, I owe them back all the money that they gave me. It turns out that what happened was one of my referrals from BNI had canceled his policy, and it triggered the reversal. I called him and asked him what was going on, and he explained to me that he liked me, but he really wanted $1 million of coverage. But because of his weight, I was only able to get him $700,000 within his budget. So when the other guy came along and told him that he could get him a much better deal, he gave him a chance. And it turns out that the guy was actually able to get him a better deal, and he went with him and he dropped my policy, and that was that. Through a lot of questioning, I learned that Prudential uses a different build chart than most other carriers, and they don't hold your weight against you in the same way that my company, the greatest company, did. And so they were able to offer my client a significantly better policy than I was able to offer him, and he took it. When I asked my managers about the situation, they were empathetic, but not really. They said, yeah, it turns out we're not always the best option, but most of the time we are. And you should just do business with us all the time, and for the most part, your clients are going to get the very best deal. When I asked what I could do to avoid this situation in the future, the answer was basically nothing. They told me that I was a captive agent, and I was supposed to use them as my carrier of choice unless they couldn't do the case. But I told them, look, if I had just brought in Prudential from the beginning, no other company would be able to come in and offer my client a better deal than I did. And I'd still have this client, and I wouldn't owe you any money. And they said, yeah, but you work for us, and those are the rules. And this was the first time I ever thought, maybe I don't need to work for the greatest life insurance company that's ever existed. Maybe I could just be an independent contractor, and I could bring my clients the very best policy that I'm aware of. And if I do, then this situation will never happen again.